you've got, let me just make sure they're all in frame. Okay, great. So at the beginning of the month, you've got 10 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Wands in its upright position generally means oppression or carrying too many burdens, or carrying a lot of things and feeling oppressed or weighed down or burdened. Because it's in the reverse position, what it can mean is a lightening of your load, or it's a good focusing for if you are feeling burdened, how can you lighten your load? Or maybe you're getting some relief from having been carrying a heavy load. So that is, it's also a 10 card. You can see it's the number 10 of Wands. So it's also representing the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. 10 is 1 and 0 added together equals 1. So it's the completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new one, is what 1 represents. So if there's something that you would like to walk away from that has felt like you're carrying a heavy load, this may represent that it's now going to lighten up. And the next card you have is the Knight of Swords. So Knight of Swords is someone who charges forth boldly, almost without thinking. He's sort of the rescuer type, and you can see in this tower, there's some flaming tower energy. It's interesting that it's in line with the tower here, and then also a soldier image here. So you've got some sort of knight, soldier, tower, which is crisis or drastic change, and then also resting. So I like to look at things that line up. But Knight of Swords says rushing forth, sometimes without thinking. Knights are always playful, creative, adventurous. They have a little bit of trickster energy to them, but this one's saying that someone's charging forth into battle or willing to be I'm getting sort of rescuer energy here. Like a fireman definitely has Knight of Swords energy, or even Knight of Wands energy, but someone who goes to the tower to rescue those who are in crisis. And this could be you representing for yourself. You're finally coming to your own aid. If you've been struggling with something and carrying something that's a lot of oppression, it may be lightening, and you may be rescuing yourself from that. Or it's just sort of like full charge ahead, full steam ahead. But be careful that you put some thought into the matter, because Knight of Swords can leap before they look. In the picture, in the Rider-Waite, it's a picture of a knight who is charging against the wind, and even his horse has an expression of like, is this really the right thing to be doing? So this tells me just, take that action, but have some precaution, because he tends to rush into things. It also says too, if you rush into things, there may be careful not to rush into a crisis that you're trying to rescue someone from. I guess something that I'm getting from this card right now is that be careful that you throw a life preserver to someone instead of jumping in the water with them if they're drowning. This card is 8 of Coins, and it is usually the card of the artisan or the person who works away diligently at something and reaps rewards from that. Because it's in reverse, this is normally, feeling very content with what you're doing and working away at something over a long period of time and reaping benefits. Because it's in reverse position, what it's telling me is that you may be growing tired of the same old grind, or that you may not be profiting as much from diligent efforts that you've been putting forth. So if there's something that you have been applying a lot of time, energy, attention to, especially if it involves someone who is Queen of Swords energy, and I'll talk more about what she's like, then it may be that you're feeling kind of upset about it, or that you're feeling tired of it, because these two are in reverse. It's saying something maybe even to do with a job, with a coworker or a boss, or this could even be you, someone who is Queen of Swords energy, which is intelligent, sharp-witted, witty, can kind of be cutting sometimes or comes back with a quick comeback. She's generally pretty fair, but she's very direct and she's very clear on rules and boundaries. There's some way in which these two are a little bit in conflict. So that could either describe you or a boss or a coworker or someone involved in a situation where you're working and toiling away. And this is in reverse. So this is telling me you're getting tired of it, or it may not be the best application of your energies. And interestingly enough, there is Eight of Coins, and Eight of Coins is surrounded by Knight of Swords and Queen of Swords. So there could be a man and a woman in this situation. Right now, it looks like if this is relating to you or you and your job or your income, it looks like there may be some dialogue between you and Knight of Swords, or that you may be able to identify or relate to him, like charging forth quickly. And it may be that there is some sort of conflict with Queen of Swords. So this can also represent that you are looking towards Knight of Swords energy, which is rush into things, whereas Queen of Swords has more of a balanced approach, and she has a little bit more experience than the Knight. Excuse me. So, what it's saying is that you may not be doing things in a very practical way. You might be a little impatient and rushing ahead. If that's the case, then things may not be working out well for you in this endeavor. So what I'm going to say is that if you have been carrying a heavy load and you're wanting it to lighten a bit, which is 10 of Wands energy in reverse, I'm also going to say one other thing about 10 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Wands upright can mean the teacher. So if it's in reverse, you may need to put yourself in a student or listening, receptive position. And you may need to listen to practical advice or even criticism. It could be, because she's in reverse, it could be criticism saying, you need to do it a different way next time. Instead of this, I'm just going to go rescue the situation, do whatever is necessary attitude that the Knight of Swords has. So those are all different interpretations of what's coming up for you during the beginning of the month. The middle of the month, wow, there's really some sort of battle going on. Really some sort of, I will even say, crisis of some sort. Something where things are changing dramatically and there's a lot of resistance. The reason I say that is because the Tower card you can see in the imagery of the card that it's some sort of crisis and people are falling away from the Tower. What it usually represents is that whatever established order has been there is like crumbling apart suddenly, or that there's a sudden change of events, or things are reacting suddenly. It's good to note that that's coming up. This may be the focal point about where this rushing in versus waiting comes in. There's also a dilemma of not being able to make a decision about it. So there's some way in which you feel stuck and haven't been able to make a choice. 2 of Swords is being stuck and blinded because you're not able to make a choice between different courses of action. And so it creates stasis and stuckness. With these being in reverse, again, it could be that this crisis enables you to feel less stuck, or it's not quite as bad as it would be, or shocking or dramatic as if it were in the upright position, but it's seeming as though you don't quite know what to do or how to handle it. This Tower in reverse and this 2 of Swords tells me there's some sort of indecision about, okay, well, what am I going to do now? Or this thing has happened. This is a lot of, even there's 2 lightning bolts, 2 swords here. There's a lot of like, do I do this or should I do that? And this 5 of Wands energy is competition, battle, again, more fighting. So in reverse, again, it's not as bad. Sometimes it can be interpreted as playfulness or competition. It can have a lighthearted side to it. But the main energy of this card is that there are many people at odds with one another. So it could be competitiveness, or it could be related to this. It could be what leads to this falling down. I mean, in many ways, this card with this card can mean revolution. So things are really changing. People are standing up and saying, I want things to be different. Like if it's, say, unionization at your work, or, you know, it can represent in a number of different ways. And you may not know which side you want to align with, and therefore you're doing nothing. But this is also a card of, I call it picking up the pieces. And it's a card of reaping the benefits of whatever is left over after the crisis has happened. So this, in order, it's saying, you know, there's some sort of fighting that's happening, some sort of battle or disagreement or competition, some sort of crisis or dramatic change, and an unknowingness or an indecision or feeling stuck, and then finally picking up the pieces, like saying, okay, so the thing happened, now what can I gather from it? What can I take from it? It's a little bit of an opportunist card, but it's also practical and in a sort of resigned way, saying, okay, well, this has happened, at least what can we collect and learn from it? In some ways, too, I'm seeing similarities here. This row here is saying, you know, be practical, saying, you know, use what you can, even though it's a difficult situation, and then the world opens up for you. So, and this row is saying, you know, someone who rushes into battle is willing to rescue people. Here's the scene of the battle, and then it's saying, you know, maybe he just needs to rest or take a time out or reflect on things. So it looks like definitely some sort of crisis is coming to a head, or some big change, maybe out of the blue, maybe unexpected. And you may not know how to feel about it or how to make a decision about it, but look at what you can gather from the situation once it happens. Look at, you know, once the sun has set on the battle or the crisis, look at what you can collect from it that might be useful to you, because it looks like it's leading towards the world's opening up. These two cards from the beginning of the month to the end of the month are very different. This is a card of oppression, a card of carrying too much, a card of feeling tired and weary and his back is almost breaking. This is a card of complete freedom and the world supporting you, and that, you know, anything that you want can come to you, that all forces are aligning to bring you what you want. Same with this card is the 10 of Cups. Here's another 10. So it's emphasizing ending of a cycle, beginning of a new one. 10 of Cups is joy, family, all your wishes fulfilled, end of the rainbow. You know, it's basically like saying everything's good. There's peace and harmony. So there's something about before this cycle ends, you're feeling a lot of oppression. This whole thing sort of breaks things open. You may not know how to react to it or how you feel about it, but it looks like it's leading to a lot of self-reflection and a lot of opportunity for you. Because this is 10 of Cups and this is world, there's a lot of promise there. There's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of things opening up. Both of these are fours, 4 of Swords and 4 of Cups. And what fours are, they're stable cards, and both of these cards are cards of introspection. So 4 of Swords says, you know, take time out from the battle, recover your energy or vitality by spending some time out. And 4 of Cups says, you know, be careful that you don't just focus on what is directly in front of you. See what the world is offering to you. Don't be blind to it, because it's coming from an unexpected place. Often 4 of Cups can mean not seeing opportunities because you're so focused on what's there. And it looks like there's a lot of cups available to you. So the focus here is that even while you're being introspective, see what is coming towards you, because there's a lot of beautiful opportunity energy coming to you with the World card here and the Four of Cups and the Ten of Cups. There's a lot of fulfillment. So I'm really seeing this middle of the month like cracking open to open new things that did not exist before. Just make sure that with